Good afternoon, everybody. It's a joy to join you all once again on a very inspiring journey. We have with us a wonderful man. And before I get to him, let me introduce my colleague, an advisor, a senior advisor to the CRL, Bart Myers, who also is the CEO for Countable, and who's hosting the platform for the CRL, managing it, running it. So if you have any issues with it, catch him. Okay. He's the man to go for that. And
Thank you, Bawa.
Now, here is Dr. Mr. Honorary, whatever titles I can give you are not enough, Sam Beard. I don't think he needs any introduction, really. After having worked with eight presidents, right up to Barack Obama. And this young man at the age of 82 is just beginning. And he has a very small aspiration. All he seeks to do is connect the universe, not just the planet people, not just planet Earth, but the entire universe. Sam, when many people at your age, with all that you have accomplished, with the Jefferson Awards and transitioning, starting with Senator Kennedy, going up with Michelle Obama, all the things you've done, you've impacted, is it safe to say, over 500 million lives, and you're starting something new again? Why, Sam?
Well, look, I have first, Bawa, let me just say how honored I always am to have the privilege of working with you. You dazzle me, and I tell you every time I talk to you that I'm so honored that you pay any attention to me at all. And so this is great joy. So the answer to your question is that I have so much fun, there's no point to stop. And then what I say is, for 50 years, I've been in service, and I've finally learned what to do. So now our goal is to impact 1 billion people, and we divide that into 2 education parts so everybody can understand it. Create a connected and more conscious world, and then impact 1 billion people. And you put it into 2 education systems. First, we're working on ages 0 to 5, which is so important. You can't end poverty in the world, in the United States and around the world in developing countries, unless you understand actually 0 to 3. And that's been my whole life. So if we talk about racial, social, economic injustice and inequality, you can't begin to turn that around unless you start on the importance of 0 to 3. And then the next education is 6 to 106. And the point there is that, and I can make it simple because it's brain science. If we are operating in our 5 senses, we all know that we're on the front part of our brain, and we process information at 40 bits a second. Now they know scientifically, if you go back in your brain, when you're your most creative and ideas fly in and out, you're connected to the universe and connected to your subconscious. And now you have the ability to process data at 40 million bits a second. So the question is, how do we get there? And that's worth, I see no reason I can't be mentally and physically active for another 20 years. And I now know what I'm doing, and here I come, Bawa. I have the privilege of working.
God bless, Sam. God bless. More power to you. Just by background, I tell you, everybody now knows this man, Sam Beard. I met him about 4 or 5 years ago. He heard of me. He called me. He wanted to meet me. I was so busy. It was during the UN's General Assembly. I was in New York. And the only time I could meet him was 11 p.m. at night. And there he was, as enthusiastic as ever. And look where we are today, at the verge of launching Connect Universe on the International Day of Peace on September 21. Tell us a little bit about your vision and your goals, your aspirations, Sam.
All right, let me start with 0 to 3, and it completely changed my life.
Help explain 0 to 3. What do you mean by 0 to 3? For those who don't understand that.
One of the leading scientists and health people in the whole world. And I went to him and he said the very following thing. They now know scientifically that the baby is born and billions of synapses start connecting, 1 million a second. And the brain science is by your 3rd birthday, you need to be spoken to, sung to, and read to 25 to 30 million words. And your cognitive capacity, the neurological passages which create your cognitive capacity is set by the third birthday. What Halvorson will then tell you is, after the third birthday, the brain largely goes on and does something else. So if you haven't met the goal or come close to the goal, 25 to 30 million words by the third birthday, you're in trouble. Because what is your cognitive capacity? It is your ability to succeed in school. And if you can't succeed in school, I just talked to Halvorson 2 weeks ago, and what did he say? He said they now know actually it's 2 years, not 3 years, because if you haven't done what you're supposed to do in year one and you haven't done what you're supposed to do in year two, year three, you can't catch up. He then tells you, if you don't have the cognitive capacity, the chance is great you're not going to graduate from high school. Take that around the world. In the United States, if you don't graduate from high school, Halvorson tells you, 80% you end up in prison. 80%. And if you graduate from high school, 10%. It's such a difference. And then all the top scientists like Heckman at the University of Chicago, he points out that 0 to 3 is absolute maximum impact. You've got to do it. 4 to 5 early childhood development is also important, but now it's shrinking. When you get into school, your capacity to catch up is very limited, and after school, it's even more limited. Now, mostly people don't know that. And once I heard it, my whole vision with the privilege of working with Bobby Kennedy is, let's stop poverty. That's how I was only thinking globally in the United States. Let's stop poverty. And Bobby Kennedy was that, Lyndon Johnson was that, and their speeches where we're going to do it. Conditions are worse now in the United States than they were 50 years ago. Worse. And we spent trillions of dollars. And there's no point of spending the next trillion until you get after 0 to 3. You've got to do that. And it's quite simple. And take it around the world. We're already taking it Bawa around the world, which you know.
Yeah.
Here's Stella Mengele from a small town in Kenya. She's created this amazing song, all in Swahili. So we have subhead headlines, and it's sing to your baby, sing to your baby, sing to your baby, sing to your, love your baby, love your baby, love your baby. And without even trying, it's reached 150,000 people. And we're now partnering with the United Nations and potentially partnering with UNICEF. And if you take that, it's a direct message to the mother, whoever's taking care of the baby. It has a huge impact. And already, based on that song, people are getting back to Stellar and saying it's so simple. Speak to the baby, sing to the baby, speak to the baby, sing, play with the baby. And then also, it's a whole question about most mothers and fathers don't know what they should do. So the first thing is to speak to. The second thing is with your baby is serve and return. And that's simple. My father did very little with us. So I did a ton with my kids. I just did. He couldn't keep me away. But I was always energy, energy, energy. And serve and return is with the first baby, you do something for 30 seconds and you stop. And you pause. Wait for the baby to respond. The baby wants to be loved and lovable. And so that response is huge. And then play with it.
Sam, even today, you're so infectious. Your enthusiasm, your energy comes right through. But, as I learned, and I want to sow the seed in your mind, I think the real formation of a child begins when the child is conceived in the womb of the mother. What is the state of the mother's health? What is the state of the mother's thinking? How during those critical 9 months, the mother nurtures the baby in the womb? What do you think about that?
Absolutely 100%. And I didn't want to get ahead of the audience by saying that, because some people don't believe that, but it's 100% true. And from conception, you don't want to smoke. You want to eat properly. You want to exercise. You certainly don't want to do drugs. And you do want to talk to the baby and sing to the baby right in the womb. It's hugely important.
Yeah. Let me just, transition to another subject, which I think is a core mission. I would, want our viewers to understand what is the core mission and vision of Connect Universe, especially today, when the United States is more disconnected and ununified than ever in our history. What do you want to do, and how do you plan to bring people together, and why should they come together?
Every time with you, Bo, it's a great question. So that mostly gets to the education system of 6 to 106. And I think the division is all around the world. I see it all around the world. There's great disconnection between government and people and cultures. And the whole point of create more connected and conscious world is to bypass that and go to our true instinct, which is where we're all basically, if you look at the difference between cultures and races and skin color and geography versus the commonality, there's so much more we all have together, and we just need to focus on that. So let me go back to this statement about the biggest issue is if you're in your 5 senses, you can process information at 40 bits a second. Go into the middle of your brain. I ask people this on the street. I go walk around the street all around the world. I say, first, what do you do to get yourself calm? Because if someone is stressed and running all over, and if you tell them to meditate or do yoga, a lot of people think that's from Hollywood and it doesn't relate to them. So I just say, what do you do when you get completely calm? Take a hot bath. Take a walk in nature. You've got to stop your monkey brain from frying all around. The next thing I ask them is, when you think of somebody, do they ever call you? About 75% of the procedures say yes, they've never thought of that. So then I ask them, if you think about them and they call you, is that happenstance, or does it happen to be a telepathic magical connection between humans and animals and humans and the universe? And then they basically say, I've never thought of that, but yes. Then I ask them, when they get to be their most creative, do they get into a sense of flow and does time fly by? And almost everybody says yes. And then I point out that that means they're beyond the 5 senses and they're getting into the center of their brain. And ideas come flying, and it's like it's a zoom, and Stephen Kotler with flow, and it's totally connected to science. And then when that happens, it's follow your intuition. And then I ask them, have they ever thought about, are all the ideas theirs, or sometimes do ideas come from outside? Now, most people, that's the first time they've ever been asked that, and then some do. Then my next question is, are you spiritual or religious? And that I tell them to, if you lie down in the middle of the night on a bright sunny, on a summer dark day with the stars, and you have a sense that there's a creator of the universe, a power greater than us. And pretty much everybody says yes. And the magic is we're connected to that. So the way to elevate human behavior is to get more into the center of our brain and trust the creativity and the intuition and actually connect to the universe. And now you're operating at 40 million bits a second. And with that, the brain works, it's more compassionate, more loving, much more understanding. And you start to reduce the division between cultures and skin color and geography, and you work towards world peace. So our whole mission is, if we understand these built-in capacities that every human being has, we have a chance to elevate the world and usher in an era that's never been seen before. And the leap is a quantum leap forward, not an inch.
Yeah, it's acknowledged by the leading scientists now. There's something known as extrasensory perception, or the sixth sense. It's been alluded to many times, and many great people have had experience and evidence of that. But tell me practically, International Day of Peace, September 21, what programs do Connect Universe wish to launch, which can bring the people together to remove the differences and see that, after all, we are interdependent. The world knows it. The climate threats are existential. In California, how many fires each year? The natural disasters are increasing in intensity each year. And yet we somehow want to continue to divide people rather than take action on what's happening. So what is Connect Universe going to do, Sam?
I'm going to tell you 2 stories. And one of them happens to center you. You're at the center of taking service around the world, working with Lions clubs all around the world. And we're committed to that. And how better is it to work with the Center for Responsible Leadership and Lions clubs all around the world to multiply service? And what does service mean? Just think of once a week, do something to somebody you don't know. See them on the street. Just do something. Go up and say, you look very energetic. I love your face. There's something about you that's special. Help someone across the street. Do one thing with one person once a week. And so service around the world is one answer.
That's not asking for much. That's very little.
Don't ask people for much. So now that's one thing all around the world. And we're going to announce on 9/21, which is Peace Day, that Connect Universe is going to launch a global contest. Service benefiting local communities, outstanding service benefiting local communities. And we'll start taking nominations January of 2022, and we'll announce all the winners September of 2022. So that's a huge thing where we talk now about, because I can't help but think big, and I'm a collaborator. So by collaborating, I don't care about my ego. I don't care about what I'm doing. I care about the excitement of other people. Let's join hands. Let's collaborate. Let's go beyond silos and let's go beyond egos. So fundamentally now, Bawa, we have 8 initiatives, each one of which has the team and the capacity and the partners to each impact 1 billion. Just one of which is service that you're talking about. Now let me tell you a story about more than 5 senses. Julia Dushevitz was born in Austria. And when you think of Austria, you think of mountains and snow and winter. Now, Julia was born on a flat plain, nowhere near a mountain. But from the universe, her passion was and vision was she was going to win a gold medal at the Olympics in snowboarding. Not possible, but the universe was guiding her. She was always living in the center of her head. Now she makes the team. And here they're all in line and they're going to get on a tram and go through a tunnel up the mountain. The universe says, Julia, don't get on that train. She doesn't know why, but she's following the universe. She does not. The tram gets into the tunnel, it catches on fire. Everybody on that tram died. And the universe saved Julia's life. Now, then when she was racing, using her 5 senses, she's always worried about this, worried about that, and she never won. She created a breath exercise, which is breathe in slowly 4 times and out slowly 6 times. And do that for a minute, and you're going from your 5 senses into the center of your brain. When she raced, being connected to the universe, she won the gold. Now she wins the gold, and now she's got a company and an app, Remind. And we're working with Julia and others to take how to reach calm, how to breathe, make it very simple. Calmness and simple is the way to begin to elevate human behavior. So those are just 2 of the 8. Central, Bawa, because you always are.
Now, what is your core policy objective, Sam?
The policy objective is, I think, so simple, which is everything we're doing reaches the next level. I've always been a little bit of a pioneer, slightly ahead of things. So first, we've looked up with Adil Kassam at Unify. And he reaches 50 million people a week on Facebook. And his videos around the world for the last 3 years have reached 400 million people. So Unify is committed to work with us to impact 1 billion people. Now you got our Connect Universe nonprofit. And our goal is to impact 1 billion people by collaborating. And then we have an SOUL empowerment training system. Connect with yourself, learn to love yourself. The more you love yourself, connect with others, improve your relationships. Connect with yourself, then connect with the universe. Now you get from the 40 bits a second to 40 million bits a second. And then the last is L, SOUL. L is love, serve others. And now we're back to you, Bawa.
No, for me is, okay, this is wonderful. I see that you are forging strategic alliances, partnerships with different, you mentioned Lions Club, you mentioned the Center for Responsible Leadership, you mentioned Unify. Who are some of your other partners?
Well, see, Remind is one. And then we have a whole series of partners on 0 to 5. And as you know, we're already active in Africa, and we're on a path in the next 3 to 5 years to impact 10 million lives. And we also do that across the United States. So the partnerships there are PCI Media, Gaiasoft International, Loving Classroom, Halverson, the top experts in the United States and the top experts around the world, Cincinnati Children's Hospital. So tremendous effort on 0 to 5, because it goes right back again. It goes right to my heart, Bawa. When I had the privilege of working with Bobby Kennedy, was so excited. We thought we were going to stop poverty. We thought we were going to stop poverty and reverse it. And it's worse now. And the point was, at that time, we didn't have the brain science to 0 to 5. And so that's so huge and so exciting. Now, Loving Classroom teaches kids all about values. And so now they're going to do 0 to 5 and values. So it's 0 to 18. And we work with them all around the world. It's absolutely huge. And then another objective with Give Nation is, if you think about it, something like 60% of the world is 30 years and under. A major emphasis of ours to put together coalitions, collaborations, to make the next generation of leaders have values, vision, and reach a higher level.
Yeah, I know. I fundamentally agree with you that our education system as it stands today does not necessarily give the skills or equip the students with the skills that are necessary in the world out today. So certainly a value-based education system, having meaning in your life and purpose in your life are extremely important. But tell me, with Connect Universe, I mean, it's a huge term. All we want to do is connect the 8 billion plus people around the world. Why stop at 1 billion when you have another 7, Sam? Go for it.
We're going for it. See, one thing I want to say is 921 is our beginning. It's a launch. And it's going to be big, but it's just a launch. Now, when I set out with Bobby Kennedy to try to flow money into inner cities, and then after the assassination, where I thought my life was over when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated, I was in tears for months. And then right now, if something on the Kennedys on television, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
But then I got a message, which is the message of the Kennedys: when one person can make a difference. So I went back to my one-room apartment, and here I come. Now, it took 3 years for me to get the staff. I can't read a financial statement. I'm always dependent on the team, but I never quit. So it's persistence. So in that case, 3 years to do the first loan. Next 3 years, $30 million in 5 cities. Next 300 years, $100 million in 25 cities. Then I made it a program with Jimmy Carter, and then a program with Ronald Reagan. So now we trained 100,000 people and set up 1,000 organizations, all of which are working today. So what I'm saying there is that effort with the 2 presidents, we created more than 10 million jobs in low-income communities. Pretty good.
Yeah, something which fascinates me.
But that's where we're going to start now. That's where we're starting now. So this is the start, and 20 years later, we'll meet all of these objectives. That's the only point I want to make.
Yeah. No, something which fascinates me is that with all these great men, but there are 2 very fascinating women you had the privilege of working with, Jackie Kennedy and Michelle Obama. Speak to that, Sam. What was that experience? What did you do with them?
If we talk about the power of the universe, the Jackie Kennedy story is the most important. The universe basically connected me to her. Now that sounds like I made it up, but I worked with Bobby Kennedy, and I would see Jackie Kennedy once or twice a year. But she was the most famous woman in the world. So here I'm at a cocktail party, and I see her, and I got excited. I was like 31 years old, and here's the most successful woman in the world. Now she starts walking across the room, and I'm figuring, who's really significant that she's going to see? Because the head of every country wanted Jackie Kennedy to do something. The head of every company wanted Jackie Kennedy to do something. And the head of every major influencer wanted Jackie Kennedy to do something. So she's walking closer, and then I figure she's getting pretty close. I make a joke out of it. I turned around because there must be somebody behind me. There was a wall, and she was coming up to see me. Now, she then asked me, Sam, you're always energetic and get stuff done. What do you think about? And I said, I think we should have in the United States, this was 1971, the middle of Watergate, we should create a Nobel Prize for service in America. Now, she went on for 5 or 10 minutes. What a great idea it was. I did have enough gumption. I said, Jackie, I'm going to call you tomorrow morning. And if you agree to share it, I'll set it up. Now, the universe is, when I called her the next morning, she said yes. That is impossible. That's impossible. If she was turning everything down, everything down, everything down, and I wasn't famous, why did she say yes? It's because she got some kind of a magic vibration to say yes. Now, we took that and it became huge. Our founding board with Jackie Kennedy and then Senator Robert Taft was Muhammad Ali. It was Neil Simon, the playwright. It was Hank Aaron, the ball player, and 70 top people, totally nonpartisan, totally just to do good. And then Bill Moyers, who was special assistant to Lyndon Johnson, said the essence of service is grassroots. Why don't you have local television, local newspapers? So we ended up with 175 partners, reach 100 million Americans for 35 years, encouraging them to do service and help their neighbors helping neighbors. So fundamentally, we had impacted easily over 50 million lives. It's just that one simple thing. Now, that's the basis of what we're going to do with the Center for Responsible Leadership and working with Lions clubs. Take just what I learned from the Jeffs Awards over all those years and put it to work around the globe. It's very exciting. So it's just, everything is step-by-step, simple, joyous, energy, positive, let's do it, and collaborate.
And with Michelle Obama?
Michelle Obama, she of course is such a revered figure for sure. And so she had a whole system about young people and taking charge and believe in their hearts. And that's how we worked with her. And we went to her opening of what she was doing. And with social media, reached 500 million people. And she had all these musicians and everything. She was an amazing, and is an amazing, real game changer, Michelle Obama. What a treasure that was.
Yeah. No, everybody, you see what is Sam Beard. You see how infectious his personality is, how enthusiastic he is. He cannot be contained. This is a force of nature. I can tell you this, having known him for many years now. And, he's being very humble, not taking credit for all his wonderful work. But one lesson I take, and I want to share with you all is, set yourself those goals in life you realistically feel you cannot accomplish, just as Sam has done. And then keep working for it for the rest of your life. Have no frustrations, have no obstacles. Keep at it. And surely that image of January 6th and all the disunite in the country, that can be overcome. We can indeed be united. So thank you. Thank you so much, Sam. It is a pleasure, and we are looking forward to a journey together. Connect Universe and the Center for Responsible Leadership.
Bawa, you're right. You couldn't bat me away with a stick. And thank you. Thank you always.
I salute you, Sam.
The salute is, I'll give you a double salute.